Hello everyone! If you're watching this right now, it's either because you think you're good at Payday and you're trying to defend your ego, or because you actually are bad at Payday and you want to get better. And if it's the latter case, then I applaud you, because the first step to recovery is acceptance. So, if you'll let me, I have some advice for you on things to think about on how to get better at Payday 2. Let's break it up. Now, it's not just enough to say that you're bad at Payday, you have to know why you're bad, and that can be a hard task. So I broke it up into 3 distinctly mutually exclusive categories. We have your loadout / your build, we have your defensive abilities, and your offensive abilities. If one of these relates more to your problems directly, you can jump to it right away with a timestamp that I'll leave in the description. But if not, let's go straight for the loadout / your build. Now, this is the first thing you're going to do before you even start playing, so it's important to really spend some time and thought power on this. I know there's a lot of stuff going on here, but as you can see, there are 3 primary reasons that get broken up into sub-reasons. Now, the first primary thing to think about is the map. Is your build going to work for the map you're playing and the heist? If there's no drills on the map, don't have drill points. If it's a long-range map, try to have at least one gun with good accuracy so you can hit snipers. I think that's pretty intuitive. The second thing is situationally balanced. Now, what I mean by this is that you want to have at least 2 guns that makes you good at more than one type of encounter. For example, having a grenade launcher for crowd control and having a sniper for dealing with long-range targets would be a good situationally balanced build. If you ever get swarmed, pull out the grenade launcher. If enemies are far away, snipe them. This will also deal with a lot of special enemies like shields, and your sniper can hit the dozers and tasers really hard from far away. The second thing to think about is your playstyle. Does your build actually fit your playstyle? Now, it's important to create your loadout around your playstyle and not the other way around. You know better than anyone what you're good at and what you're lacking in, so build a loadout to your strengths. And if you don't know your playstyle, that's alright. You can look to YouTube for some inspiration, but try not to copy them exactly, because half the fun of this game is figuring out what works for you, and I'm not going to deprive you of that. Just like Rick Sanchez said, from Earth Dimension C-137, don't be sheep, think for yourself. That's right, Morty. The third thing you should keep in mind applies to if you're playing with your teammates or your friends. Is your loadout complementary to your friend's loadouts? Now, this is the opportunity to make some really cool combinations. For example, if I'm playing a dodge build and my friend is playing Maniac, that's going to synergize really well. The added damage absorption from his Maniac will really help me while I'm dodging, because it gives me more opportunities to dodge. If you want to learn more about the complexities of dodging, head over to my other video where I talked about effective armor. But yeah, as I've said, having more damage absorption from me helps him, because if I'm able to stay out and kill more things and move around faster and do more objectives, that's good for him, because he probably has heavier armor and isn't going to be running around as much. So that ultimately increases the survivability of the team. Also, don't waste skill points. Some things are more of a luxury than a necessity. And it's hard to tell right away what skills those are, but I think you'll figure them out rather quickly once you start playing and once you start trying new builds. So don't be afraid to mess up. That's not a bad thing, that just means you can make it better next time. You're one step closer to figuring out what works for you. The bottom line is that your build does not need to be perfect, it just needs to be designed with some purpose in mind. And you should also try to have fun while you're using it. Okay, now I'm going to talk about your defensive abilities. This is going to cover the basics of armor, the basics of dodge, health regeneration, and situational awareness. If you don't understand how armor works, which you might not actually, because I just found out how armor really worked 2 weeks ago, and I already had like 200 hours at that point on the game. Armor works by absorbing all damage and prevents any health damage from being lost. So for example, if you have 10 armor and you get shot for 50 damage by a SWAT unit, your 10 armor will absorb all 50 damage, and you won't lose any health points. This is true for all cases except for snipers and dozers, and I think melee attacks, but I'm not positive about that. So basically, normal enemies won't break through your armor in one shot, but dozers and snipers will. Now let's talk about dodge. Dodge is really powerful, but it's also harder to use because there is a random element associated with it. Dodge is just a % chance that if a bullet hits you, it will do no damage. Don't be afraid to try dodge builds, they're really fun and you'll really like them, but it is a different way to play, so you do have to get adjusted to it. It's like switching your jobs in Final Fantasy. Thirdly, you should try to have at least one way to regenerate health during a heist without using medic bags or doctor bags. This will keep you in the fight longer and will also waste less team supplies for when you actually need them. So this could be anything from the AI team health boost regeneration, the gambler perk deck, grinder, and anything else that I can't think of right now, like ex-resident or there's another one, biker crew. Now finally, the most important defensive skill you can develop as a player is your situational awareness. Let's say there's 2 dozers, 2 snipers, a cloaker, and a shield, and your friend is down. Obviously, you want to revive your friend because it'll make the heist easier having him alive. However, you also have to realize it's going to take you time to kill the dozers, to kill the snipers, to kill the tasers, to kill all the specials, and then distract the other enemies so you can jump in and revive him without getting shot. You have to quickly analyze the risk and reward and figure out if it's worth it. But it's up to you to make that decision. So just be patient, don't rush into things. Take a second or two and analyze what's going on, and then decide if you can realistically achieve it or not. Now last but certainly not least, let's talk about your offensive abilities as a player. The 5 most important things you can develop as a player are your headshot accuracy, dealing with specials, Switching weapons at the right time and often, using the right gun at the right situation, and knowing when to crouch and when not to crouch to minimize your hitbox and maximize your movement speed. If you're not aiming for the head, you're not doing it right, plain and simple. Body shots take way too much time and way too much ammo to kill enemies in this game, with the only exception being grenade launchers really, and other explosives. The second thing to work on is not letting enemies pin you down. If you're trying to push up, don't keep falling back and getting bogged down. Keep making ground and eventually you'll get to where you're trying to go. Calmly deal with special enemies because they die just as quickly as normal enemies. You just have to be more careful about not getting too close, and learn to prioritize specials first, especially medics, because if you don't kill a medic, then you get to kill his target twice, which is another waste of ammo. Now, switching weapons before one runs out of ammo is important because it'll maximize your ammo efficiency. Let's say you have one gun that's totally full and one gun that's totally empty, and you pick up an ammo box. Then you're only regenerating ammo for the gun that's empty and not the one that's full, when you could be getting both for free. So switching guns often allows you to maximize your ammo box pickups, which will ultimately make you stay in the fight longer. This will also conserve team resources for longer heists for times when you actually need them. Fourth, use the right gun at the right time. I know we think we can all range that sniper with our pistols, and you probably can sometimes, but be realistic in your expectations and switch guns when you need to. If you have to reload, take cover first, or at least disrupt enemies around you with a concussive grenade or melee attack. And finally, I mentioned crouch earlier. Crouching is important because when you crouch, your hitbox is smaller, and you can also find more places to take cover in. This allows you to be more aggressive, and if you're more aggressive, you can kill more enemies in a shorter time, which means there's less enemies to kill your friends, which means you'll survive the heist with a higher success rate. The best defense is a good offense, and that's especially true in Payday 2. And if you don't believe me, equip a grenade launcher, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If I missed anything, feel free to let me know in the comments below. Quantifying Payday 2 is not an easy thing to do, so I'm open for criticism and suggestions for better videos in the future. Speaking of, if you like what you saw and you want to see more, consider subscribing. But either way, I hope you all have a great day, and good luck out there. Happy heisting, fellow heisters.